Hi, David here. I'm here in my studio and I'm just doing final preparations because soon 2 people will arrive, and one of them, she will put on a heart monitor and we will measure her stress levels as she makes conversation with a stranger. And what I will do is to give her a short 1-minute coaching or so and see if I be able to change her internal state to go from nervous to confident when she's talking to a stranger. And she describes herself as overthinking and getting stuck in her own head in social settings and becoming self-conscious. So I will see if I'll be able to change that. But to make sure that we know it's the coaching that works, we're actually going to do an anti-coaching to see if we can get her more nervous in a conversation with a stranger as well. Okay, so let's see how this goes. So here's me and Fanny, and I'm asking her to act in the way she normally does when she's meeting a stranger or an acquaintance. And here's Patrick, who's helping with our experiment. And Patrick and Fanny have never met before. And we've connected Fanny to a heart monitor, and here you can see her pulse. A normal resting pulse is around 60 beats per minute, and she's sometimes above 120, so you can tell that she's nervous. So we let them talk for a few minutes to take measurements of how nervous she is. We used the standard method that scientists use to track nervousness. And if you want to read more about how we did it, you can click on the link below.
Probably
Whatever.
Yeah. I think we just hung out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a year ago. So.
After a few minutes, I coached Fanny in an attempt to see if it would be possible to almost instantly make her feel more confident in the conversation. Would you say that you have some feeling in your body right now of nervousness?
A little bit.
Yeah. Could you pinpoint where in your body you feel that feeling, that sensation of nervousness?
In my chest.
In your chest? Yeah? Okay. Can you even point at it?
Here.
There.
Yeah.
All right. Instead of being annoyed by it, be a friend with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you're letting a person into the room you're in, instead of spending all that energy of trying to keep that person out, you can just accept it being there. What you want to do then is to shift your focus from what's happening in your body to the person you're talking to, or to me. And that's also something you can practice to shift your attention. Say that you know a famous person, like someone you look up to, and maybe it's an idol, someone you're interested in. It could be anyone living now or who's ever lived. And I tell you that yesterday I met that person. Then you would probably be quite interested and a lot of questions would pop up.
Yeah.
So you can have the same curiosity with whatever I'm telling you about. Okay, and I'm not saying that you always need to walk around a fake interest, but when you're in your own head, you can create curiosity in whatever the other person's saying. So if I'm telling you a story about my weekend in Barcelona, you can create a feeling that you are interested in Barcelona and you have a lot of questions popping up. What was that like? How long were you there? And so on. That's what I mean by creating curiosity.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're not that much about what should I say next? Is my hair right? Things like that.
Yeah.
And when you instead keep the focus on what I'm saying and you're curious about what I'm saying, then your brain performs better and it's easier to have a conversation. And here we'll let Patrick and Fanny talk for a few more minutes.
That is true. It's really true.
Do you climb often?
Twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
Where do you climb?
Johanneberg, Glätte. Yeah, love it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
When I am stressed in a conversation, I try to be more offensive with questions and try to ask questions that forces the other person to really explain themselves. But when I tried to be curious, as you instructed me, it felt more like I was not as offensive, but more interested, like genuinely interested in what he was saying.
Now, what if that's just because she had time to be comfortable around Patrick? So to correct for that, I now performed an anti-coaching on her. And here I put Fanny in the anxious state by instructing her to think the most classic anxious thought. I want you to focus on how you think that Patrick perceives you. And here we'll let Patrick and Fanny talk again to measure. And now it's time to see if there was a difference. And if there was a difference, was it a big one? And to my help, I have social scientist Victor Sander.
Here are the readings from the different conversations you had with Patrick. And this is what we use to calculate your heart rate variance. This is the reference value. It's a relaxed conversation. And here we can see session 1. This was when you just met Patrick. And here you can see your relaxed state is at only about 11%. Then you had your coaching with David. Here you can see session 2. And you can see how your relaxed state more than doubled. Almost as good as a totally relaxed conversation, which is pretty amazing for just meeting someone new. And then we had the anti-coaching, and you can see how your relaxed state went down to about 15%. So almost the same as when you just met Patrick and was at your most nervous level.
It mirrors pretty much how I felt during the interview. Yeah. And actually I didn't know that the second coaching was like bad coaching.
Yeah.
So I took it as something that should help me, but I didn't feel like it helped me at all.
Yeah.
But it turns out it was bad coaching.
Yeah.
Now, our test was just one person, but this experiment was actually done on 40 people that had similar results. And what's fascinating about the study is that the more nervous people rated themselves, the better this method worked for them. Okay, but why is it that this method works so well? It is because of 3 things. The first one is that when you're okay with being nervous, you break that bad loop of being nervous because you are nervous. And secondly, when you focus outwards, you won't have any brain power left to focus on yourself, and you become less self-conscious. And thirdly, when you have this curious focus, then you will automatically, just like Fanny did, come up with questions to ask the other person. And then you won't be as concerned with awkward silence, because you know that you have something else to say when the conversation runs dry. So how can you use all this to feel more at ease in conversations? You can use the OFC method. So the O is for okay. It is okay to be nervous. You can let your body do whatever it's doing. Just let it roll. And the other one is F. Focus. Focus on the person you're talking to. And also, you can use this even if you're not in a conversation. Say that you're just about to join a social... Maybe you are just entering a room full of people, and you notice this nervousness, and you get nervous, but you know it's okay. And then you focus on the people there. So maybe you ask yourself, I wonder what that guy is working with, or I wonder about her interests on her spare time. If you put your attention outwards, then you won't be as self-conscious. And then we go for C, and that is being curious. So that was OFC. It's okay to be nervous. Focus on people in a curious way. Whenever you're entering a conversation or entering a room full of people, just think OFC.